Hello guys, and what is going on? Today I got a battle for you, playing as the Empire versus the High Elves. For my force here, I got 5 units of spearmen, 5 units of swordsmen, sorry, one of which is the Sigmar's sons. I have the Sterling's Revenge and the Silver Bolts as stock missile units, as well as a Great Cannon and a Hammer of the Witches. In my backline. I also have a unit of halberdiers on either flank and the Royal Altar of Griffites in the rear. Karl Franz is up on Deathclaw with the Reichland Runefang and Garl Miraz. And he is an excellent melee duelist. I was hoping to be able to use him to either pin down nobles on chariots, or if they do bring a caster up in the sky like Alariel, I thought he might be able to do good work against her. I don't want him fighting dragons necessarily, but he's a little faster than dragons, so he doesn't have to. I also have a Jade Wizard with the healing spells, Earthblood and Regrowth, in order to keep Karl Franz healthy, because he is a little bit squishy. For my opponent, they have 5 units of Spearmen, so Swordsmen cost 400 gold, and they beat Spearmen. I don't think Spearmen are the infantry of choice for the Empire versus High Elves matchup. I think we'll talk a little bit more about that later. They do have a lot of Illyrian Reaver archers. I'm trying to watch over here because all my cannons are about to unload on this light mage. There's 2 Illyrian Reavers over here, one behind me and one on his right flank. There's an Illyrian Reaver in the Fireborn right here, as well as an Illyrian Reaver archer hidden in this valley. But yeah, at the beginning of the match, I'm going to let my cannons unload onto this Mage of Life, or Mage of Light, because I assumed it was a Mage of Life, and I thought that was a Great Eagle, which means that his lord was hidden somewhere else on the map, and that was intended to heal his very haggard air force of his Moon Dragon and Great Eagle. But it turns out it's Alariel up in the air with her Moon Dragon up there. Alongside. But yeah, as you saw, the cannons just annihilate this light mage. And they're going to get another volley off here before they get switched on to Alariel. I don't know if any of them hit. Yeah, a couple good shots there, and that actually routes them off. I used Tempest on Karl Franz. I used to think Tempest was 100% slow, but it turns it's only 72% slow. I used Foe Seeker to speed myself up and swing out of that. They're also going to use a Arcane on Forging on Karl, and I think it's time for an Earthblood to start to heal him back up. The Moon Dragon gets pulled into the Tempest just for a second, and then gets hit by the Sterling's Revenge and the Silver Bullets, which is very unfortunate for them, because that is a lot of health taken off the Moon Dragon in just a single volley. Karl Franz is getting his health replenished by the Earthblood. I was thinking about sending him into the Moon Dragon, but I kind of cautioned myself against it since he is a little bit low right now, and he doesn't have his abilities up because of Arcane on Forging. However, the frontline fight is about to begin here, and as we can see, the swordsmen are going to charge into these spearmen, and they actually just start to win right off the bat. I mean, the swordsmen, I think, have a distinct charge bonus advantage of 14 versus 4. But yeah, I mean, this gets worse for the spearmen the longer this goes. Because once they lose martial prowess, it's going to get much, much worse for them. I should be worried about my backline now. And now that the front line's engaged, and he's kind of pulled back Alariel and the Moon Dragon, which could begin just hammered by these cannons, he starts to move his cavalry in. And he has quite a few units of light cavalry, and I don't really have enough to cover my whole backline here, and I don't play it that well either. I use Karl Franz on these Illyrian Reavers, which are kind of just baiting me away, because they're so quick. And I don't see this Illyrian Reaver coming in from my rear, which means I charge my Royal Altar of Griffites to defend against these Illyrian Reavers, and I pull my halberds away from my backline. So he's doing a good job at pulling me apart back here, and he gets the Illyrian Reavers into the Hammer of the Witches, which is a very high value target. The Fireborn coming to follow up, but they're going to be rear charging halberds, and halberds that are running away from them, so it's kind of like a limp charge here. This is one of the not so great parts of charge mechanics recently, or not recently, it's been in there since medieval, I would say, where if you're charging a unit that's running away from you, that's a long time medieval, the cav unit just struggles to actually get an impactful charge against it. Dogs, however, get good charges, I find, against running units, which is really what they're for. Karl Franz finds a nice chance to engage onto Alariel, but she pops Star of Averlorn and Earthblood, so I just decided to get out of there, because the longer that I stand in there, the longer that she's going to heal. So I just get out, run away. I'm faster than her, like I said. I'll just fight her right over here outside the Star of Avalorn. Um, However, she's looking pretty healthy right now, and Karl's not so much. And I think if I remember correctly, I just don't have healing spells available right now, and so I'm not too stoked about this. But Karl is faster, and even though he's getting support of some guns, I decided to dive him into my swordsman and then pull through my swordsman. And this is a great tactic if large targets are following a smaller flyer, that you can just kind of run through your own men. And they get bogged down in your troops, but you just kind of pull through, and you're back up in the air, and they're stuck down there, and you can do other things. Now, there's another Arcane and Foraging coming down on Karl Franz, and he's going to work his way over to this fight with the Royal Altar of Griffites facing off against the Fireborn. Pretty epic clash. The Royal Altar of Griffites being one of my favorite elite cav units in the game. I think they look super cool with their monstrous demigryphs. I just love the way they bounce when they run. It looks like it's probably backbreaking, but they have a really cool animation. But yeah, I mean, the halberds are finally coming to kind of support this. The silver bullets are still fairly healthy, and the Illyrian Reavers are pretty much shattered off. The frontline fight is almost over, with the swordsmen having handled it pretty. I don't see a single dead swordsman unit, so it seems like they all won. Even the unit that I pulled the dragons through. Karl Franz is trying to stick to Alariel, but his healing cap is not showing. He's taken a lot of damage this match. There's been some pretty persistent healing from my Jade Wizard on him. He'll drop an Earthblood onto the Royal Altar of Griffites, intended to keep them alive as long as possible, since they are actually going to be pretty useful in this fight against Alariel on the Moondragon when on the ground. Now that we're all on the ground, I can use the halberds as well, trying to get all of my units used here. So I pull in some halberds. I leave a unit of halberds back here next to the silver bullets and continue to shoot. It will do some pretty good damage to this Moondragon, as you can see. Sterling's Revenge trying to head off that unit of Illyrian Reavers from coming back. I don't want them to hit the cannon crew. I mean, at this point, the game match is over, but, you know, gotta play proactively the whole time. Take a look at the post-game stats. So yeah, swordsmen. Swordsmen are critical in this matchup, at least something to think about as the High Elves. I am relatively new to the multiplayer scene, so I can't say that I have all the answers for builds like this. But I am going to say that I don't think spearmen are something that should be brought against the Empire, at least as an en masse frontline unit, simply because swordsmen cost less and trade upwards against them. If you have a situation like this, I feel like going more elite into your infantry or focusing more on a range-heavy build, utilizing lots of Illyrian Reaver archers, light cav, and Lothar and Seaguard, maybe, of your own, or just even regular archer units, would be a lot better. Because the Empire has relatively low armor and not great shields. I can't think of a unit on their infantry line that has silver shields. Maybe like Sigmar's Sons or something. But that's just a regiment of renown, so it doesn't really count. But your light, since they're low armor and they don't have great shields, your light missile fire from just your regular 475 cost archers are going to be pretty effective. The Pistoliers and the Outriders of the Empire, I think, could actually duel pretty well against Illyrian Reavers, but I feel like Illyrian Reavers with the micro would actually probably do better since they have the arc advantage against their opponents. And I would bet they have better melee stats, since Illyrian Reaver archers are basically just Illyrian Reavers with bows. But yeah, I mean, how do you handle the cannons as the of the Empire as the High Elves? You know, that's I think one of the biggest parts of this matchup that I really struggle with. I think as the High Elves is how do you get into their cannons, considering they probably have stealthed range units back there. They probably have halberds back there, and they probably have demigryph knights back there. And if they don't have Boris or Karl up in the air supporting, they have more gold to be spent in their backline defense. And I think it's really difficult to get in there with the Star Dragon. I think it's also really difficult to get in with Cav. So I don't know. It's an interesting matchup. I'm curious to know what you guys think about it. So let me know. But until then, be well, and I'll see you next time.